Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. How are you today? I hope everyone is feeling well. I'm feeling great. How was your day, your evening, your afternoon? So, as you can see, the title is Five Signs of Someone with Narcissistic Traits. So, that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I hope you've got your ideas together, your thoughts together as to how you want to participate, how you want to comment, any ideas about whether you knew anybody or know anybody that you think has narcissistic traits. If you know someone that has been involved with someone that has narcissistic traits, yeah, that's part of what we're going to be talking about. And hopefully, you will make some comments. We can have a discussion. Yeah, let's have a discussion today. So, again, it's five signs of someone with narcissistic traits. So, let me tell you a little bit about myself. So, I'm Gloria with Just Gloria JTV Africa. And I started this channel because I wanted to explore Africa and the African diaspora. So, I got involved with things concerning music, lifestyle, culture. And then recently, I started looking into relationships. So that's the purpose of this series that we'll be doing concerning relationships, live streaming. Now, the reason that I chose to deal with this particular topic, the topic of narcissist, is because I believe that I've experienced at least two people with narcissistic traits. So that's one of the reasons I decided that I would like to explore this with you. And maybe what we talk about over a period of time will help someone. So that's really what my goal is. It was something that I had in my mind because of experiences that I've had with people. But I also felt like if we discussed it, perhaps it could help someone else, someone that may be involved with a narcissist as we speak, and they want to find a way to deal with it or whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish. Because being with someone that is a narcissist, from an experience that I feel like I had, you need help. You do need like a village. You need people around you that can give you suggestions. Might even need to go to counseling because it's something that can affect your mental health. It's that serious, basically. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to start out by telling you a story which kind of displays and kind of describes a narcissist. But I'm going to wait just a little bit to see if people will come on in. I see there's one person. I see you. How are you? Welcome. Hope that you'll participate and comment if you find things here that will relate to what you sorry, if you find things here on the show that relate to you. I hope that you would comment and contribute to what we're talking about because again, my whole purpose is for us to help people if they're involved in situations such as a narcissistic uh, relationship. Okay, so here we go. So the story is this: there was a lady that decided to write in and give an explanation of what happened to her. And based on some of the things that I've researched about what a narcissist is, or a person that has narcissist traits, this story fit the bill. Okay, so it's 6 o'clock now here in Atlanta and 11 o'clock in West Africa. So just to catch up, um, Of course, as you see, this is about 5 signs of someone with narcissistic traits. And I want to welcome everybody. If you're my subscriber, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome as well, and consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you won't miss any of our uploads. And if you watch this as a replay, I also welcome you. So, in case you're just coming on board, I was just saying that the reason that I decided to do this relationship live stream is because I believe that I met 1 or 2 people that were narcissists or had narcissistic traits. Now, narcissists could be significant relationships or significant others, or could be family, it could be friends, it could be someone at work. But this is something that's been talked about recently quite a bit, and there's a lot of debate, about it. But at the same time, there are people that feel like they have been involved or are involved in narcissistic relationships. So I just thought that I would bring this forward so that we could explore it and maybe help someone. So let me give you this story. The lady wrote about her experience concerning her ex husband. And I'm going to read it verbatim. Okay? She says, I was overweight when I got married, and he wasn't negative about it. On our honeymoon, he was in a bad mood, and he asked me what was wrong. And I asked him what was wrong, and he said, well, I'm with the fattest person on the cruise. And that's when it started. We were married 18 years, and the truth is, I should have come home that honeymoon and filed for an annulment, but I didn't. And she goes on to say, in the beginning of the marriage, he became physically abusive with me twice. The first time he reached over and pulled my hair as hard as he could. The second time he slapped me right in the face. But I had one thing over him, which was that he had a phobia about police and being arrested and going to jail, even though he never had been. So I threatened him that if he ever physically assaulted me again, I would call the police and file charges on him and he'd be arrested. I also had many family members in law enforcement too, so that really solidified the threat. He never again was physically abusive, but because he couldn't harm me physically, he made up for it with his verbal assaults. He said things to me you'd never say to your worst enemy, let alone your wife and mother of your child. I then found out about his affairs after about 17 years. He wouldn't admit it for the longest time, and when he finally did, he then blamed me for it and said, well, I mean, what did you expect? You're so fat and you're not desirable. So she said that he didn't like whenever anyone paid her compliments. He said, they're just being nice to you. They don't really mean it. Then he would buy me expensive jewelry and things on my birthday and at Christmas and Valentine's Day. But it wasn't long until I realized he did that for himself too. He'd say, hey, show your family what I bought for your birthday. It wasn't about how he felt about me, it was about how it made him look. Like, see, I'm a good husband. I buy her nice things, even though she doesn't deserve it because she's fat and stupid. He also called me stupid and dumb, too. So she said, a long story short, I got out finally. I'm now married to a wonderful man who treats me like I deserve to be treated. After I ended it with my ex, I realized that I wasn't the problem. He was the problem. So I never blamed myself and always knew I deserved more and that I had done nothing to bring on his horrible words. It was his sickness. I also realized that no matter what I did, it still wouldn't have been enough or good enough. He still would have found fault with something that I did, and that's no way to live. So she said, I also knew I had to forgive him and forgive myself too for not being a better advocate to myself by allowing someone to treat me like he had. I had begun walking 3 miles daily at this point, and started praying during those walks. At first, I was so full of anger at all of it, but mostly at the years that I wasted with him. Yeah, so she said that she walked daily in anger, but day by day, she said, walk by walk and step by step, she said she was able to release all of it and forgive him. She said she no longer felt anger towards him. And she said, I knew I was here when I found myself truly wanting his happiness, although I knew it probably wasn't possible. I don't think narcissists are ever satisfied or capable of complete happiness. She said that he's married again and has two sons. He doesn't have much time for our son anymore, but that was because my son knew who he really was and he didn't like that. And later on, she said, what's funny is that years later, he asked my son once how mom was doing. And my son told him, Mama's doing great. She's got a job. And he asked, well, really? What kind of job could she get? And my son told him, she's a probation officer. And so what she was saying is that he was so upset and jealous of the fact that she had moved on and done well. So he said, oh, well, good. What about dating? He said. Is she seeing anyone? And he'd have to like big women, he said. He felt like the guy that married her or was seeing her must have liked big women because she was large when she was with him. So she said, my son answered, oh no, she's lost a lot of weight and looks good. You know, she's always been beautiful, which people have said over and over, but she's now thin and beautiful. And yes, she's engaged to a really great guy who's a police officer. So this is what she said. She said, my son said the look on his dad's face was absolutely priceless. Karma is a beautiful thing. Okay, so I read that story because the lady that wrote it said that it basically described him as a narcissist. All the traits that he had during their marriage made her know that he was a narcissist. And that leads us into um, what narcissist traits are. So, with some of my research, I found that there are red flags to look out for. And as you can see, what I'm getting ready to say is going to relate to the story I just read to you. So, one of the red flags is that they lack empathy. They seem unable or unwilling to have empathy for others, and they appear to have no desire for emotional intimacy. So, I'm sure the fact that he was making her feel very bad about her weight and just anything that he was saying to her, you could tell that he had no empathy. He had no concern about how her feelings were hurt. He really didn't care. And you could just tell that very easily with the way that he talked about her and talked to her. So that definitely, to me, seems like that's a red flag, is having lack of empathy. And he displayed that there. So one other thing, excuse me, that is talked about in terms of a narcissistic trait is a person that has an inflated ego. Yeah, an ego that's really, really big, basically feeling like he is superior or she is superior to everyone else. They don't think anybody knows more than them or even as much as them. And they really don't have anything to back that up. However, that's how they feel. Their ego is inflated. Then, one of the other things that I mentioned is their need for attention. Well, everybody likes attention, but theirs is over the top, where basically they feel like everything is all about them. You know, they come around people and they might take over the conversation. They might do things just to get people's attention, taken away from everything else that's going on. They're basically attention grabbers. It's like that's part of what makes them live. It's like breathing for them, giving them breath. Then they say they have repressed insecurities. So even though they try to make people feel like they are superior to other people, they really are insecure, very insecure about who they are. And then the last one is they don't have a lot of boundaries. In other words, they'll say and do whatever comes to their mind without any regard to how it's going to affect people. And that pretty much describes her husband from this story. So, if you have any comments, if there's anybody that has anything that they want to comment, please do. Let's have a conversation about this. Have you ever had anyone in your life that you felt had any of these traits? Do you know anybody that has someone in their life that has these traits? It's basically something to talk about because it can be it have a long effect, a big effect on the life of somebody that is living with someone or has a relationship with someone that is a narcissist because it can make you miserable, I'm sure. In fact, when they have no boundaries, they feel like everything is about them and they don't consider your time. They don't consider anything that you're doing. They want you to cater to them. They want to take up your time in terms of if you want to do things with your family or friends, they try to block things like that because they want you concentrated on them and they want you doing anything that has to do with their needs. So again, if you've had any contact or know anyone that's had contact, please make some comments and have a conversation about it. Okay. All right, so that's my little take on narcissism. And again, it was a pleasure being here. I hope you'll come back next Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard and 11 p.m. West African time. And that's every Thursday on Just Gloria JTV Africa. So it was a pleasure talking with you, Glow Glow fam. See you in the next video.